come on over here real close because we're going to play a really neat game today, which is called Name It. Have you ever played Name It? There's only one rule about naming it. I'm going to show you something, and you get to name it, okay? But you have to give it a name that no one else has ever heard before. A brand new name. I don't care what you think it is. You have to have a new name, okay? Like you never saw it before, all right? So come up with a good name. Like what would be a good name for something? I'm partial to Kashwavi. You ever heard that before? Nobody ever heard that. Kashwavi. Okay, well, that's not a real name. But if I name something that, then it is a real name, right? You get to name some things today. So use your imagination, right? All right. First thing, name it. Arlo? Arlo? Okay. You name it. You named it. Arlo. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Here I got another thing right here. What about her? What? Fimpy. Fimpy. I never heard of that name before. Hey, Fimpy. Is that her boyfriend will have trouble with that in the years ahead. Okay. Fimpy. Okay. Arlo. Fimpy. You guys are doing a good job, okay? How about this? Now, I've heard SpongeBob before. Huh? Thingamabobble? Thingamabobble. Is that, I guess that's a new name, right? In fact, I think Miss Darla calls almost everything a thingamajig or a thingamabobble. But we can do this. Thingamabobble. Do you have any idea what it does?
Yes.
You know what it does?
It tightens stuff.
Tighten stuff. It's pretty close. Okay. All right, I got something else right here. This is Isabel's favorite toy, and she probably doesn't have a name for it yet. See, it's got a mirror on it. It's hearts. What? Ractal? Ractal. Arlo. Ractal thingamabobber. What's her? Fimpy. Okay, good. And what was this? Ractal. Okay. Hey, I'm impressed with your memory. It's pretty good. Okay. Okay, I got this. Well, maybe we ought to investigate it because you can't give something a name before you know what it. Look at this thing. Look at this thing right here. Now, what in the world could that be?
Pocky?
A what?
Pocky?
Pocky? I'm just going to stick this on it. What do you think this thing does? Maybe you ought to name it Flew Off or something, right? There. Fly off. Okay, let's see here. Okay, watch it. Ooh. I got no idea.
Turny.
What are you going to name this?
Turny.
A what?
Turny.
Turney?
Spinner.
Turney? Tornado? Well, but that's the name for something else. Well, Spinner? Well, you like Spinner or Turney? You like Turney. Okay. Turney it is. Okay. All right. What about this? Goblin. We've heard that before.
Monster Goblin.
Furper. 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 Hey, Furper, come here. I want to play with Furper. Furper's my favorite toy. Does that work?
No. Yes.
If you named it, it can keep your name. That's good. That's good. How about this? Eldor? Eldor. Is that a new name?
Yeah.
You just made it up? That's pretty good. Eldor. Okay. Okay. Well, I got one last one here. What about this? What do you, money catcher? How do you, I don't know. No, I don't, where do you think this goes on somebody? Why don't you stick your arm out here just like that, babe? What do you think about that? What do you think? I got no idea what it is. What do you want to call it? Squeezer. Squeezer. Does that sound good? Hey, look at all these things that you named. Can you remember them? Okay. This is what? Squeezer. Turnier. And what was this? Thingamabobble. Okay. What's this? Arlo. Oh, what a friend. Yeah. What about this? Eldor. Man, look how good you. And she is? Fimpy. Whoa. And this is? Ractal. Hey, look. You gave all these things a name. Isn't that cool? Did you know it's important that when you give something a name, that means you know something about it, right? Yeah, that's right. Oh, you like the cat? That can be a little intimidating, I guess. Did you know? Did you know? I don't know. Not around me. Okay, so I think one of the things I wanted to see if you could name it. So I was going to see how creative your mind was, and you guys, you came up with new names that nobody ever heard, and you did something else, and that's you remembered it, because it's important to remember a name. Did you know that God remembers your name? If I were just to be praying and talking to God and just kind of thinking like, dear God, I'm really praying about Ava. You know what God would say? I know her. Did you know he knows you? He knows you. And he knows you. And that means that he loves you and is connected to you. Because when we get to heaven, guess what's going to happen? Well, God's going to look at us and he's going to say, when I thought about you before you were ever born, guess what God had? A name for you. And he's going to tell you what it is. And won't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? So maybe God wouldn't call you Riley, or what do you think God would call you? Fractal? No. I bet it'd be a pretty name. And when God tells you what your name is, you're going to say, that name is just perfect. And it'll be the happiest moment that you ever had, right? That's cool. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that about God. I wanted you to know how special you are. And thank you for showing us how to name things. You guys did a great job. Y'all can go to Children's Church.